Depending on where I'm recording this is either the last video of the year or the first video of the year, depending on where you live. And in this video, I wanted to discuss why camouflage became a thing, and why medieval uniform as colorful as this fell out of fashion. First thing to point out is that this military uniform specifically is not a military uniform, it's a jousting uniform that was used during medieval festivals. Medieval uniforms looked more like this, where you basically had armor, where you basically had some colors, and those colors were used to identify yourself on the battlefield and which side you were on. Even after the medieval period and when flintlock rifles became a thing, these colorful uniforms still became like a main uniform worn by militaries around the world to identify which side you were on. But as firearms and artillery became more advanced, these colorful uniforms ended up starting to become a burden to the military units that were wearing them. One country that learned the hard way about this changing battlefield was the French military, because their colorful uniforms basically had red pants, and the Germans were able to see the French military from that far and used their artillery to destroy them. One of the first militaries to adopt earth-colored uniforms were the British military, who wore khaki uniforms which were colored brown, which would blend into the dirt better. Then you had the German military wearing a stone gray uniform, but then they started experimenting with camouflage patterns at the latter half of World War II. Past World War II, nations began experimenting with camouflage patterns, and by the modern day, it became just the standard for military vehicles, military uniforms, military aircraft, and a bunch of other stuff. And new technologies like the radio ended up helping soldiers identify themselves instead of having to wear colorful uniforms like they did back in the 1700s.